Attack on Titan is a story about titans, war, and the weight of the world. But what if one decision had changed everything? What if Eren Yeager, instead of following the path that led to destruction and the rumbling, chose a different way? In this alternate reality, Eren never turns into the villain the world feared. He fights to protect his friends, defend Paradis, and carry the burden of the Titans himself. Before we dive in, there's something important to explain. In the original story, many events happen because of Eren's choices, including him gaining the founding Titan's power, and eventually becoming the villain that sparked the rumbling. In this alternate timeline, Eren doesn't become evil. That means a lot of those events wouldn't happen at all. The story changes from the very beginning. To make things clear and easy to follow, we're going to exclude those events and focus only on what actually happens in this new reality. There are multiple ways the story can progress, and in this video, we'll consider 3 alternate timelines. Starting with the first one. In this alternate path, Eren's biggest change is simply that he stops pretending to hate his friends. After sneaking into Marley, he reaches out to Armin and Mikasa earlier than in the original story. He reveals everything he's seen through the Founder, including the rumbling, the deaths, and the feeling that the future is trying to force him into becoming a monster. Armin listens carefully and tells him that the 3 of them have always survived by staying together. Mikasa reminds him that no matter how heavy the burden is, he doesn't have to face it alone. This honesty becomes the moment that shifts the entire story. Even though they are united, some events still unfold exactly like the original timeline because the conflict with Marley is already in motion. Eren still goes after the Warhammer Titan because capturing it is the only way to strengthen Paradis and avoid being wiped out. The Survey Corps still launches the raid to rescue him because they cannot just ignore Eren here. And tragically, Sasha still dies when Gabby shoots her on the airship. These events keep the story realistic and show that Eren choosing a better path doesn't magically erase the consequences of war. Even though Eren had seen it, he couldn't prevent Sasha's death. However, the changes begin immediately after the escape. Instead of acting cold and distant, Eren openly apologizes for the danger he caused and tells the group what he learned about Zeke's real plan. With this, Eren manages to unify the Survey Corps. They stop Zeke from influencing Historia, and reveal the euthanasia plan before it spreads too far. Because Eren doesn't act like a future world-ending threat, Marley and the other nations don't panic as quickly. They still fear Eldia, but they aren't preparing for destruction. Armin steps forward as the diplomatic voice. Hange pushes for talks with Marley's rebels, and Eren becomes a defensive leader rather than a weapon of genocide. Characters like Rainier, Gabby, and Falco slowly see that Eren isn't the monster they expected. Small alliances start forming, and the world begins to see the possibility of peace, not because violence disappeared, but because Eren didn't turn into the person everyone feared he would become. In this timeline, Eren remains flawed, emotional, and conflicted, but he stays human. He grows into a leader who protects his home without destroying the world, and his bond with Armin and Mikasa becomes the reason Paradis finds a future instead of a grave. Well, this timeline was a bit too good to be true. The next timeline is very different compared to the previous one. In this alternate reality, Eren's path changes the moment he understands the Founder's powers and the future that will destroy everything he has. Eren knows that no matter what Paradis does, the world will always see Eldians as a threat. In this timeline, Eren doesn't want to become the monster he saw in the vision. After thinking deeply, he starts to believe that Zeke's plan, which is to euthanize all Eldians, might actually be the only peaceful way to end the cycle of hatred forever. But Eren is also smart enough to know that if he tells anyone, even Armin or Mikasa, they will reject him, stop him, or even lock him away. So for the first time, Eren is honest about his feelings, but not about his final goal. Many parts of the original timeline still happen because Eren cannot stop the war. He still infiltrates Marley and fights the Warhammer Titan, because Paradis needs its power to survive in the short term. The Survey Corps still comes to rescue him, and the battle unfolds just like the original timeline. Sasha still dies from Gabby's shot on the airship, and this moment hurts the group deeply. However, in this timeline, Eren doesn't react coldly. He looks genuinely broken, and it becomes clear he never wanted more innocent blood to spill. After returning to Paradis, Eren finally shares some of his thoughts with Armin and Mikasa. He tells them he wants to end the fighting and bring real peace. He explains that he's working with Zeke, but avoids giving details. He promises them he has no intention of destroying the world, which calms their fears. They believe he has some kind of diplomatic or peaceful plan, not knowing that it involves ending the Eldian bloodline quietly. Because he doesn't attack or insult them like in the original timeline, their bond stays strong, even though something about Eren still bothers them. Eren and Zeke eventually reunite, and this time, Eren doesn't betray him like my childhood best friend betrayed me over some chocolates. That still hurts. Anyway, inside the paths, Eren supports Zeke fully. Instead of forcing Ymir, they simply request her to send the curse. Ymir is also tired of centuries of pain and eventually agrees. the power of the Titans begins to weaken over the years. No more people are turned into mindless Titans, and the people on the island slowly lose the ability to have kids. Because of this, the global attack never happens. Millions of lives are spared. At first, the world watches Paradis with suspicion, but as it becomes clear the Titans are truly gone forever, that suspicion turns into a chance of peace. Small agreements are made, goods are exchanged, the cycle of revenge is broken. Eren's story in this world is a tragedy. He found a way to save everyone, but at a great cost. His friends are heartbroken when they learn the truth, but they understand his difficult decision. He managed to save the world without destroying it, and died without becoming the devil he was destined to be. In the previous timelines, we assume that Eren stays alive in the end. But what if that's impossible? In this timeline, Eren learns about Zeke's true intentions long before he even arrives on Paradis. Instead of pretending to cooperate, he immediately tells Hange, Levi, Armin, and the military police everything he knows. Zeke's euthanasia plan, his manipulations, and how dangerous it is to follow him blindly. The moment Zeke sets foot on the island, he's arrested and placed under heavy guard. Without Zeke's influence, Yelena's faction falls apart. The wine plot never happens, Levi is never seriously injured, and the military becomes much more stable. Even though Eren knows that Zeke's plan might actually work and make things easier for his people, he doesn't want them to suffer. Eren doesn't pretend to be an enemy. He works openly with the Survey Corps, Armin, Mikasa, and the rest of the soldiers, focusing on stronger defenses, Titan research, and preparing for potential attacks from Marley. As the story progresses, Eren begins to see a deeper truth. As long as the Founding Titan exists, true peace between Paradis and the rest of the world is impossible. No matter how much diplomacy or preparation they do, the world will always fear the Titans and see the Eldians as a threat. Eren tries to reason with Ymir in the paths, asking her to end the Titan curse once and for all, but Ymir, weighed down by centuries of pain and torture, refuses to give up her power. After all this, Eren makes a heavy decision. He knows the world will never stop fearing Eldians as long as the Founding Titan exists, and he cannot let Marley gain the upper hand. He decides to use the Founding Titan to commence a limited rumbling. Not to destroy humanity, but to destroy Marley's military and scare the rest of the world into backing down. Wall Titans march across Marleyan forces, crushing ships, cannons, and soldiers, showing the world the devastating power of Paradis. Once the battle is over and Marley's army lies defeated, Eren realizes his actions cannot leave him alive. He understands that his very existence, combined with the power of the Founding Titan, will continue to make Eldians a target for fear and war. Without telling anyone, he goes to the front lines one last time, carrying the burden alone. In the heat of battle, he's mortally wounded by enemy forces and dies on the field, ensuring that his friends and the Survey Corps can survive and rebuild. Before heading into the decisive battle, Eren leaves a letter for Armin, Mikasa, and the others. In it, he explains why he chose this path. He writes about how he could see the cycle of violence repeating over and over, how the Founding Titan's powers would always put Eldians in danger, and how he wanted to carry that burden himself so that his friends could have a chance at a better future. He asked them to continue working for peace and to remember that his death was a choice to protect them, not a failure. After the battle, the Survey Corps mourns him deeply. Mikasa places his scarf over his grave, holding back tears, while Armin vows to rebuild the world and seek peace between Paradis and the outside nations. Hange works tirelessly to strengthen Paradis's defenses for the future. Eren's final act becomes a legend as the boy who bore the weight of the Titans and the world, who destroyed Marley's army, scared the world into caution, and gave his friends a chance to live.